Cool. So I'm going to work on this Fender. I'm going to do some demonstrating for you guys on how these thumbnail dies work, and then I'm going to have you guys come up and try running them. And then, if you notice on these Fenders, we got reverse curve, right? So I'm going to talk about that after we do some shrinking and start getting this thing shaped up. And we'll take a look at how that happens, because you guys can probably guess, to get our normal compound curve, we're shrinking the sides of the panel, right? Anybody got an idea what we're going to do to reverse curve? Yeah, stretch, right? It's the only other thing we can do, shrink or stretch, right? So we're going to work on this side of it. We're going to start our regular compound curve, and then we're going to go over and do some linear stretching and start putting a reverse curve in it. Sound good? So if anybody has hearing protection, you want to put them on?
Eye protection.
Eye protection? Nah. Got my squint. All right. And also, so like Christian talked about last night, we have our thumbnail dies in here. So Christian did a pretty good job talking about how it's going to create a tuck as we go in, and then we pull it out, and you're going to see it's crushing down. So I'll show you what the tuck looks like. Happens a lot quicker on the power hammer. So now as I bring it out, you can see the flat right there. As I bring it out, that flat is going to brush that tuck down and create our shrink. Everybody see this? Alright. So a couple of things. When I'm running the hammer, this is a strong machine, right? We talked about this thing can crush multiple panels. I'm not strong in this machine. I let the machine do the work. I don't try to manipulate my panel a whole lot. So I'm feeding in, I'm holding my panel, I've got light hands, I'm feeding straight in, coming straight out. One thing that you have to be careful of is, and you're all good, when you guys run the power hammers, this will happen to everybody here. You're gonna do a final hit with the flat right on the edge, and it's gonna smash that edge and create like a coining effect stuff. It's going to just smash it out. That happens, right? It's just practice, okay? So we want to go straight in and then come straight back out. It's real helpful too when you're learning to get on the pedal, feed in, stop, and then feed out. Because if we feed in and we dwell on the same place where that flat is, it's just smashing and stretching. It's kind of counterproductive sometimes. Okay, so if you watch me, I'm feeding in, I'm feeding out, I'm trying to time it so my last hit is stopping right before the edge. What I recommend a lot of people do, see I left it, even it's up a little bit, that's fine, I'll get that later. It's better to leave that a little bit open and come back and just tap it down than to smash out the edge. Sound good? So what I'm gonna do is, like Christian talked about, we have to shrink more on the edge than the center. So I'm gonna run my first run right to the center line, and I'm gonna do my second run here, and I'm gonna do my third run here. And by doing that, then I can go over again. I'm progressively bring it down. It's going to need more passes down here than it will up here. I'll probably just take one pass up here, and then more as we progressively go down. All right? Nice and loose. Now on the other side, I want to be even. I want to match these because I'm making a uniform part, right? So you guys can see, I try to adjust the form here, you can see it already starting to pull down. All right, and It's ruffling up here because I shrunk the metal in here, and now I've got too much here. It's got no place to go, so it's popping up. So my next run, you can go right on top of these stretches. I tend to stagger them. It's just what I like to do. So now my next run, I'll go in between these to the next line. But you can just stay on top of it. It doesn't matter. You can shrink on top of the same spot over and over again, and you will make it happen. And people in the back too, you guys can legit come get close around. It's up to you. Second line, you can start to see it kind of walking down a little bit. Now we'll go to third line.
Anybody have a black BMW or a white Bronco parked over here?
Yeah.
They're blocking the door for them to get into work.
Jared, where are you, bud? Right here. I can't, dude, these don't tell me direction.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Kim told me to park there. We're already starting to look like a Fender a little bit. Okay? So, who wants to give it a try? Here we go. Cool, come on up here. So, you're going to be running this one. We're going to go right to this second line, okay?
So you just bring it up into here?
Right to here and back. You're going to notice, and Mike will talk about this more, so if you guys can't see this, that's okay. I'm looking at this flat. It's creating this horseshoe shape.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to stop at the second line. Okay?
Okay, roger that.
If you go over it, don't worry about it.
Right.
Okay, you go straight in, straight out. I like to hold my hands, guys, like this on the panel. I like to stay on my side of the panel and go in and out. I find if I go here, you're going to want to get a little crooked and you'll feel the hammer hit it and jerk it in your hand. If you feel the panel start doing that, just back off the pedal and reset and finish it.
Pull it
No.
down.
Nope, we're not pulling it down. We're not trying to, we're going to let it feed the way it wants it to feed. We're not trying to put any like form into it by pulling it down.
Or just some pressure so it's not bouncing.
Nope.
That's not.
Nope. Watch this, guys. I'll give a demonstration. Watch my fingers. I'm losing 2 fingers. Literally hold the panel with 2 fingers and do that. I'm not pulling on at all. I'm not stronger than the panel. I'm not holding anything. I'm not stronger than the hammer, right? I'm gonna let the hammer do its thing. If I try to fight it, it's gonna fight me back. Okay? So you got this side, like I said, second line, just try to work evenly right across. All right? Nice. Keep going. Go all the way across.
I'm trying not to go off the edge, yeah?
Yeah, if you leave it up there a little bit, that's fine. We'll
Right.
fix that.
So this is just fine, we just keep working on it.
Just keep working your way through and stop at this line where I stop. So what I would suggest, you got great job. What I would suggest is when you guys are learning, try not to, like I said, use the pedal. In, stop, come back, or in, back, but try stopping at the end. Because what ends up happening is like we're trying to keep everything nice and even. And when you're running the panel fast, you have a tendency to make your strings too close together. And now you're shrinking one side more than the other, right? So as you get better, like I can run the hammer full speed, but I've been running this hammer a very long time. You know, so work on being methodical and even in your shaping, no matter what you're doing, whether you're wheeling, using a hammer, power hammer, whatever. Work on being methodical, and that's going to help you a lot in the future. Sound good? All right, who's up next? All right, so you're going to this first line, nice and even all the way across. You can kind of see my spacing here.
All right.
Just follow that all the way across, go from this line to the end.
And all the way down on the pedal.
All the way
Run
down
it.
to the pedal.
Hey, Nick,
Yo.
run it before he puts the metal in. Let him get a feel for the pedal.
Yeah, you can do that. Go ahead.
Okay. All right.
That's it. So-
Not too far out.
Yep. So when we slow, that's why I always tell you to slow down in the beginning, because now, see the edges, the cornering? Not a big deal, we can fix that, but those things become like razor sharp. All right? So, I'm just gonna put some gloves on, so nobody likes when I got blood all over my hands. Can somebody grab me a pair of snips?
I got it.
Got some? Yeah, thank you. All right, I'm just gonna tighten up this edge, and then we're gonna get the next person on, okay? And you can shrink right along this edge nice and gently, and tighten all this back up. So, like
Yeah, with the jaw shrinker.
Mike's got me, Mitch. Nope, with power hammer. If we could do it right with the power hammer, as you get the feel for it, you can be gentle enough with this that you could shrink right on the edge and clean that right off.
So there was a lot of discussion about over there behind you.
Okay.
There's a lot of discussion
With
about
these, I can't.
the English wheel, the different size, dies.
Yep.
And so,
So-
we've picked these because you have a certain radius. So
No, actually no.
Okay.
That's a great question, and that was something I think Mike was going to touch on, but I can touch on too because it's real important. So we choose our dies on the power hammer. Maybe on your final steps, if you're trying to get in there, you might choose a die that really fits the radius, so you don't have to mess up the form. But we're choosing our dies based on a couple things. If we're shrinking, these large thumbnail dies with the large thumb, see one right here, that's going to create a lot more shrink in a pass than these mini shrink dies with a tiny thumb, right? So if I have to, if I've got a tight radius part, like this Fender, and I'm trying to make a big shrink, right, and these aren't fitting, what can I do? Talked about earlier, right? I can change the form. I can take this Fender and I can open it up and run it through those big fat dies and then put it back and check my progress. So, and you can do the same thing on the wheel. So I used the English wheel for 10 years before I used power hammer. Yeah, before starting my business, I always ran an English wheel, and even when I started my business, and I made a lot of motorcycle parts. And I have a big FJ Edwards old cast wheel, and that bottom wheel is 4 inches wide. So for tight motorcycle parts, it doesn't fit in anything. So I can open them up, wheel them, and then put it back. All right, so that's what we're doing with our shrink dies. Kind of the same thing with doming dies, except we're looking at how small that contact patch is, right? So if you have a real steep die with your flat upper die, right? We generally always run these with a flat upper die. When the flat die hits this, it's a tiny contact patch, and that's going to give us a lot of stretch, right? It's going to hit that, and all that power is going to be focused on one spot. It's going to give us a lot of radial stretch in all directions. The same thing with the wheel. The wheel stretches a little different because it works linear as we wheel it. But if you use a real steep wheel and run your aluminum panel through it, it's going to put a big line in it, right? If anybody's played with English wheel, you've probably done that. If we're making a big low crown panel that Mike's going to be doing later, which are the trickiest panels, we'll use a 36-inch radius, the big, wide, smooth contact area. And when it hits, it's not making a radical stretch. It's not going to come up with panel as much. So that's kind of what goes into our die selection. Part of it is like fitting in the part. Sometimes you might want to use not like a mellower die, but getting it out of form and everything, and then maybe you'll size it to it. But in general, when I'm choosing my dies, it's because of what action I want. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So your size of thumb, is it more specific like on like aluminum versus sheet metal?
Nope. It's all about how much stretch, how much shrink you want to do with the size of your thumb. Yeah, we use the same dies on aluminum, steel. Yeah. And sometimes the little ones, like if you're trying to clean up an edge, sometimes you can put in the mini shrink dies and you get in there nice and gentle and just clean up an edge or something like that. But rough shaping a panel, like if I was making this at home, I probably would have the big dies I'd start with, just to move it along faster. And then I might go to the MIGs. I find these MIG dies like the best. Like for what I do, I use those a ton.
What's the process of determining these lines? Is it arbitrary or is it just like
So
years?
Mike's gonna talk about that.
Okay.
That's for the radius. No, that's a great question. I was gonna talk about it, that's why they're on there, but Mike does a better job. We all kind of make our patterns a little bit different. I'm more kind of loose with my patterns because when I learn English wheeling, a lot of the classic like English trained wheeling machine guys, they use really minimalist patterns, and that's kind of what I learned. Guys like Mike uses really nice detail patterns, and I try doing that, and I take some from that, and I take some from the other, and I just kind of combine it. But Mike's patterns really show a good job of why we're stopping at those lines, so I'm just gonna let him explain that. Just know that I'm doing it, and then Mike's gonna get into the nitty-gritty of it. Sound good? Cool. Let me clean up this edge a little bit, and we're gonna get the next person running the hammer. When you guys are learning, if you leave these up a little bit, that's fine. We can just go through with the flat of the die. All right, so don't stress over it. Who wants to come do another round shrinking? Come on up. All right. So, nice and gentle like we talked about. We're trying to get these flats. We're going to make this horseshoe shape. And we're bringing that just to the first die. So we're just going in a little bit and out. Okay? Run the pedal first if you want, get a feel for it.
So I'm going this way?
Either way, you could go in either direction. We're just going to start at this line, and you can kind of see where I've been going. Right along that. I'm going to go into the first line and back out. You can space them out a little bit more. So do one here, one here, one here, one here. Okay? Go like 2 inches between each one. Roughly. That's fine. Now work your way towards me on it. Go here. We'll do here, 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 here. And now, go ahead, you can do it. Use the flat of the hammer, go right back in, and crush that one down, okay? So feed it in, so put that on the thumb. Get what I'm saying? A little bit further. A little bit further. Go ahead. Now run it back out. Good, perfect. You can tap down the other ones, go nice and gentle. Good, perfect. You good? Do you want to do the other side?
This
On the
side?
other side, yeah, do the same thing. We're gonna go something like that. Start with it inward. When we start the panel on the thumbnail does, I like to start with the edge of the panel right at the beginning. If you start with the edge of the panel on the flat, you're gonna smash before you shrink, right? You're gonna stretch before you shrink. So that was perfect. Okay. And until you get the feel, if you leave them open, I'll just go back like we just did. I got you. There you go, start right there, now close it up. There you go, perfect. You guys, at the end of the class, you'll be stopping your shrink. Cool. Those couple others. Good. Perfect. You're good. Perfect, you can leave right there. Great job.
Thank you.
Wow. Who's next? Anybody else? Somebody else? No?
Ryan, get in. Ryan. So you burn it a little bit slower, it gets softer.
Yep. It's a dynamic motion, right? So we're relying on the speed to make that whack. So if we run the machine slower, it's going to have less like elastic motion. It's going to hit softer. So because like we could run it super soft, right? It doesn't have enough speed to make that whack. And then as we speed it up, you can hear it start in the machine. So we can get in there and just barely tap it. It's just all practice. Let's do another run to this first line and just stack them in and kind of right there. Sound good? He said yes. He said sound good. And start with the panel right at the beginning of the thumb, right there. Perfect. Nice, perfect. Do that all over us. My job's easy. Perfect. That's what you need. Great. That'll be fine. All right. Does anybody else want to run a shrink before we switch over into a different operation? You run one? Cool. Let me just close these up quick. Hang out right there. This side, follow the lines. We're going to go to right about this first